Welcome. You're listening to the Rutten River Pursuits podcast. Join our epic pro staff around the Sonic Campfire for stories and adventures from our eastern mountains to the Chesapeake Salt. Let our highs and lows inspire you to take to the outdoors.
Welcome. You're listening to the Rutten River Pursuits podcast. I'm Uncle Buck. Welcome, everybody. And to my left, we have...
I'm Ryan.
I'm Catfish.
Hey, I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
Hey, guys. How's it going? I've been away. I've missed you guys.
You, Phil.
We've been apart way too long.
It hasn't been the same.
It does feel like it's been forever.
It has been. Will and I went out of town. Phil went out of town. You went out of town. You went home.
No, I did not go home yet. I went up north, up to where, I don't know which was worse, mosquitoes biting or the horseflies biting.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Up northern Massachusetts, we went to a friends of ours camp, private camp, about a mile walk. In fact, our morning walks, we could end up in New Hampshire if we wanted to.
Oh, wow.
Streams, hiking trails, just beautiful, just quiet.
Sounds nice.
Wake up, have breakfast, take the dogs for a walk. You can let the dogs go once you get out of camp, let them run. German Shepherd, she went swimming all day long. I mean, she had a blast. Yep. I mean, as long as she wasn't on the job, being a shepherd, she would only run up. All the other dogs would be hightailing it half mile up in front of everybody. And she'd look back she'd get up about 30 yards.
Just to make sure everybody's still with her.
Look back, make sure we were with her. Sometimes she would even come back, circle around us, and run back up.
She was shepherding.
Herding you.
Yeah, and then we
sheep herding.
Came home, and I ended up having to continually camp because the AC at home was out. But hey, first world problems, huh, guys?
Yeah.
That sounds like a Jeff Barron problem.
Dude, I'm not. I'm not taking a shower and running right into bed.
Did you at least have the attic fan on?
Real quick.
How many pairs of jeans did you start cutting off?
I haven't cut any jeans up, but if I need to, I'm sure to call Catfish because he's going to
cheaper the better.
Oh, I did. Yep, absolutely.
That was a great podcast to listen to.
That was so much fun. I wish you could have been here for that.
I wish
you
I
would have loved it.
I wish I could have, but then I don't know. I might have gone ballistic. The Jeff really hurt my feelings by going non-cornmeal.
He's a non-cornmealer.
Don't waste your time with
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. Good thing Phil's not here.
Good thing Uncle Buck's not here.
I was like, you're right, and I wanted it so bad.
Would you lit him up?
I could lit him up, but I'd just say, Jeff, what are you doing?
Oh no, I can totally picture you throwing your hat down on this podcast table and storming up out of here
flipping
because
the table.
I'm out of here. Non-cornmealing.
Oh man, it was kind of like that Berkeley trialing and broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said this private camp, but is there no other camps around it, or
it's was founded by I believe 20 couples, and now there's more campsites now than just 20 around this place, and. What is incredible is there might be 2 fifth wheels, like brand new ones there, out of like 45 camps, 50 camps now around there. But a lot of them are old 50s trailers that they've built roofs over and built porches off of.
Yeah.
And
like an estates, like a camping estates.
Yeah. And
old school streamline.
Well, Falling Waters Campground in West Virginia down at Dam 5 on the Potomac's it's like that. They used to be campers, but you can't see them anymore. They built all around them. Yeah.
Right. Like the only thing left on Jeff's mom's campsite is the actual frame of the old camper, and then they have a one behind that's an older pull, like not a fifth wheel but a longer pull behind trailer. I don't know what in the 50s would have been able to pull this thing.
Yeah,
but station wagon,
right? And
the old V8s.
And we stayed in a shed, for lack of a better purpose, with a window in it. An A-frame shed with a queen-size bed in it, and that's about all it could fit.
You camping, that's pretty nice.
We had a great time.
Yeah,
blast.
Awesome.
What was the temperature like up there?
Believe it or not, we were up into the upper 80s.
I don't believe it.
Mid to upper 80s Fahrenheit, but here's the nice part. Low 60s.
For our international friends.
I couldn't even do the conversion, guys.
So, I went to the Bronx Zoo with Lacey. out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was really stunned to see where you ended up on.
And you know what? When you said I stayed in the shed, it totally reminded me of the really, really nice hotel that we stayed at. My room wasn't quite as big as a small 6x6 shed. And once again, I'm not referring back to Roatan, but somebody was really amazing at taking pictures of this hotel.
How do you end up with these situations?
I had 3 or 4 girls at work looking at this, helping me out, going, do you think this is a nice hotel? Because it's right next to the zoo. And I want to just get up and go to the zoo. And they're all like, you need to pick that one. Look how beautiful it is. That is so modern and gorgeous.
It's all pictures of the lobby, though, right? Or did you see
Lobby in the bedroom? Yeah. So we got a room with a king bed in it. And you can kind of shuffle around the bed.
You were like, I said 1 king for 2 queens.
Yeah, and you could jump from the bed into the shower as little as this place was.
See, 2D taxidermy isn't just for the outdoor industry.
It's all about the angles. I mean, they must have airbrushed this room up good, man.
I've stayed in places in New York, like in Manhattan and a few places around the area, and I've been in areas where you could sit on the bed and brush your teeth.
Yeah.
And spit right into the sink. Like
and I hear that this room is actually the size of some people's apartments in New York.
That's nuts.
And they pay a lot more than we do for a mortgage.
Well, it wasn't bad. It was It was like $140 a night for the place, and it was like 3 minutes from the gate of the zoo. So it was a nice hop, skip, and a jump to drive up after work to New York, stay at this hotel, and go to the zoo in the morning. It was very convenient where it was in the Bronx. However, when we pulled up to the front of the hotel, and I'll leave out the long, short story of actually getting there, the 12 lanes that jump down into 5 lanes on the George Washington Parkway Bridge, and you don't know to go the upper level or the lower level. It's 85 miles an hour down to 0, and you're surrounded by tractors and trailers that are cutting in front of you, and nobody... I found out one thing about New York. You can do whatever you want to do. There's no actually, traffic laws. As long as you ain't legitimately running over somebody else,
monster truck,
you're fine. Yeah. And every car, BMWs to,
they're banged up.
They're all banged up.
Yep.
They look like a demo derby in New York. And I don't know how anything has struts left, because we took the Mitsubishi Eclipse, and it was just like off-roading the whole time. The roads are so bad. And the roads don't have any lines on them anywhere. You're driving through, you don't know if it's 5 lanes or 2 lanes. You don't know if it's a turning lane.
So what's more...
You do whatever you just do what other people are doing.
What's more wild to you, the furthest you've ever walked into the woods by yourself, or anywhere in New York City?
Listen, in 97, I woke up in a tent in 5 below 0, stepped out of my spike camp tent 200 miles in the middle of nowhere in the Brooks Mountain Range in Alaska. Stepped out, looked at 40 caribou.
That's
walking
up in
around
the
my
Arctic
tent.
Circle, right?
It's in the Arctic Circle. 40 caribou looking at me, chewing away, going, what's that? What am I? They never saw a tent. They don't know what I am. They have no fear. And it was just absolute gorgeous. That is one of the places.
Go get.
Yeah, that is one of the places in the world. If you screw up and sprain an ankle, it's deadly.
Yeah.
There's no. We're a day's hike from the nearest little tiny pond that a float plane could barely fit in to get you out if you could get there. And that was nowhere near as intimidating as nightfall in the Bronx.
So what made you as we were talking about this last week, what made you want to I have less than 0 desire to go anywhere near.
How much desire?
0 desire.
To run to the city?
One less than 1 desire.
I only have one key factor that made me go to the city, and that's Lacey.
Yeah.
Lacey,
you must love that woman more than
Lacey loves going to zoos.
Understand, because wow, man.
Well, I've heard great things about the Bronx Zoo.
That's it. The hotel was rough, to say the least. There's nowhere to park at the hotel. You can't even pull up and drop your bags off. You get in there, it's bulletproof glass, and you slide your ID stuff onto the little thing. And I asked the guy, where do you park? And he says, anywhere on the street you can find. So we drive up and down 4 city blocks and make U-turn after U-turn after U-turn back and forth. There's nowhere to park. And the only places that I would park and walk back that I could possibly squeeze in front of a fire hydrant, I wouldn't walk through the atmosphere at nighttime back because I don't fit in.
Yeah.
And we'll just, I mean, it seemed like I was I hate to say it, but it seemed like I was no longer a predator. I was on the opposite side of the fence.
Yeah.
And it's not mean. It's just I didn't fit in.
That's an uncomfortable place to be.
So
It was. It felt uncomfortable.
did you end up having a good time?
I did.
He was the wounded.
Had a
gazelle.
great time. We ended up parking the car across the street at a little gas station fixer-up place. Guys like, $20, give me the keys. I'm like, what? Yeah, give me the keys. I didn't want to give my keys to the car away to some guy I didn't know, and apparently everybody does it, so I did it, and that's so they can jockey the cars around. But we stayed in the hotel as long as we were in the room. It was nice. The room was up to date and clean, and I walked outside. Saw a big rat. Unfortunately, it is the inner city. There's some poverty. I saw a guy sleeping on the curb. And I'm just out of my element. So
This sounds like this could be another Rotan episode.
yeah, but I love Lace. She likes zoos, and we've been to a lot. We got up the next morning, hit the zoo early. The zoo there's no words for it. The Bronx Zoo is phenomenal. It's a must-do on your bucket list. You have to see it. And it's 300 some acres, like right smack in the middle of the heart of the city. And
What's in season right now?
you have no clue you got no clue when you're in the zoo that you're in the city. Like you just fall away.
Wow.
The zoo's pretty phenomenal. So
Just one more question before we go. Would you rather drive on that George Washington Bridge or do the Roatan Miracle Mile scooter jamboree?
oh man, that's extremely tough. Like it's a close. It's beating a scooter up into potholes versus dodging 100 miles an hour and 3 mile an hour cars at the same time.
No one was stealing your wife at this point, though.
She was.
They weren't. She was actually in the car with me.
That's a
in New
different
York.
level, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different level. I don't know. I would do it. I would do the Bronx again. I would do the Bronx Zoo again, but I might take the Wolf's Bus trip out of the Bass Pro parking lot.
I think that's the thing with New York is if you do it like 3, 4, maybe 5 times successfully and have a good time, like the more you do it, the more you just.
And I think I make it sound bad, and I don't want to. If I grew up there,
Yeah.
I would be fine. But if you take those same guys that were hanging out at night on the curb that I don't fit in with, and you bring them down here and you put them in a cornfield at night with me, they may feel out of their element, like they're freaked out.
Yeah.
And
Dove hunting.
I walk through the cornfields in the middle of midnight all the time, fox hunting.
Like
It don't
it's
bother me
nothing.
none.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what about New York City is huge, guys, because being a teenager,
It is huge.
early
big
20-year-old
You're
in
right.
Chicago
bigger in Chicago.
it feels like farmland compared to New York City. You feel like you have breathing room and elbow room and space, and even in downtown Chicago compared to New York. I've never seen another. I think I'd have to go to Tokyo. After that,
they don't have
a few capitals around the world.
There's nowhere to park. They park on the curb. There's nowhere to do anything. The garbage on the sidewalk is in bags, but it's mountains high. Like it takes every stop would take an entire garbage truck to fill it up.
I got the R2 trip planned.
Yeah.
We get the train out of Harrisburg. We end up in
The last
Penn
train.
Station,
Yeah.
up in New York City, in downtown Manhattan.
Done.
We do whatever we're going to do, have a good day, and then spend the night. We don't book nothing. We don't plan nothing.
We just go.
Fly by the seat of our pants.
Can you fish up there?
Stevie can
I'm sure.
put together like a scavenger.
I think it's a rod-free city.
It's rod free.
Yeah, I think it's rod-free.
But then
rod
we
free
go up
zone.
to we get the trains then, or the L or whatever they got, and go up to the Bronx Zoo the next day.
And Alaska's the same. Yeah,
Take
Alaska's
the H6 and we do it.
Yeah, I love it. Alaska's the same way. It has this odd feeling of you're not the predator at nighttime.
Yeah.
And there's a short window, 2 hours of dark, 3 hours of dark when I was there.
It's probably enough though.
But you don't know if bears are coming around when you can't see them. You don't know if you're And in the daylight hours, you have a sense of, okay, I can see what's around you. I can see if danger is approaching. And the Bronx was the same way. It may have just been a feeling that I was being looked at differently or didn't fit in because it was nighttime, and I don't know the area.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just a repetitious thing that you know.
I'm glad you made it back. But,
I loved the Bronx zoo, and Lacey had a blast.
My experience the last time in New York was we got away from touristy sections.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a completely different place.
Yep.
Is it?
And you can, if you're like 2 streets away and you look down, you can see like the congestion. You can see where everybody, where most people are. And for the first time, I'm like, this is like a normal place, but it just has a touristy section.
That's where the good food is.
Outside of it, the Hell's Kitchen area, like a little different place. It's completely different. It's like downtown York at that point.
And there's like the guy at the desk. I come down. I left Lacey up in the room. I came downside. I went outside to, look around, have a smoke, whatever. And I come downstairs, and even the guy at the desk is like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go out. Can I get back in? And he's like, you're going out, just stay on the property. Like, you should stay here.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird that the guy at the desk gave me a warning that you should stay here on the property by yourself. So it was odd. It was just an odd place. But anyhow, it reminded me, I ran it long story short, your little tiny shed you stayed in, I rented one of those that was a little bit more modern than that, had a shower.
Mine was free, and we did have showers.
That's cool.
I mean, that was also, it was fancy camping, but not in big old nice fifth
Steve, you got anything new?
Yeah.
You guys remember Lucas? Lucas from Deeper?
I know a guy that might know him.
From Lithuania.
Yeah.
Well, I've been talking with him for a few weeks, and he's going to come fish with us.
You've been talking with Lucas?
I've been, yeah. So he's coming over to the States for ICAST in Florida here in a few weeks, and then he's going to come up,
set up shop,
Pennsylvania.
Talk about feeling out of your element.
Yeah,
I thought going 4 hours away to New York was bad. Lucas is coming from Lithuania to hang out with us,
so he's going to come fish with us for a few days.
Awesome.
So we'll have
That'll be great.
all these. What's he going to do with all these baggy clothes?
I don't know. But I'm excited about that. But on the same, speaking of Deeper, Sean Holsinger of HolsingersFlyShop.com and HolsingersGuideService.com. We're fishing over the weekend, and
we're using one of those Keystone Copperheads.
No,
okay.
He may have. No, he wasn't either.
It's a dumb name. Whoever named that.
No.
I know a guy.
Old wounded knee.
Yeah.
You're never going to live that down, bud. So we were over at the spillway.
Not until I go up that river with a below the knee amputation.
You're still never going to live it down.
The Copper Shaman.
You're never living that down.
That's what you should have named it. The Copper Shaman.
That could be the next one.
So we were fishing below the spillway at Racetown in the Racetown branch of the Junior. So right as the dam, right at the base of the dam, the breast of the dam, there's it's maybe 20 yards wide, and 100 or so yards down from that, Sean's fly fishing for smallmouth and trout, and I'm trying to catch these big stripers that I keep seeing popping, busting up every 5 or 10 minutes. I see two or three of these within maybe a 50-yard stretch of the river, and it's not that deep. It's like 7 or 8 feet, but for an hour and a half, every 10 minutes, I'd see 1 or 2 of these just unreal explosions.
Right,
they're
actually blowing up the water. They're not just doing the boil.
Yeah,
they're boiling minnows.
So an hour and a half, I'm trying to find these, and I throw it everything, live bait, everything I got, and finally I just I'm coming up nothing. And Sean, is killing the smallmouth and the stripers, smallmouth and trout not far from me. So I don't know any other place where you can, within 100 yards, you can catch smallmouth and trout on a fly rod and see these gigantic stripers, busting up on top of the water, at the same time. It's just really strange, unique area.
Microchasm.
Absolutely. You nailed it.
There's pumpkin seeds and red eyes in there too. Yeah.
And suppose there's walleye.
Yeah, there's a bit of everything that come out of that dam.
Yeah, walleye, lake trout, maybe chain pickerel. I don't know, but
I'm sure there's some crayfish in there.
Crayfish.
So I'm counting nothing. Like not even a bump. Like nothing, zero. So Sean comes up, and I just had I couldn't stop because every once in a while would see these topwater hits. And
what did Sean put on? Like an articulated leech pattern?
Sean put on the deeper, and
caught one.
Yeah. So I got to get to show was showing Sean how to use the deeper, and we ran it down this 20-30 yard stretch of the river where I had been fishing for an hour and a half, and guess what we picked up?
A rock ledge.
Like a penny?
Nothing. Zero fish.
How many?
One less than one fish.
Nice.
Zero. Nothing. So for an hour and a half, I'm seeing these explosions, but it's fish just breezing back and forth, through there. For an hour and a half, I'm fishing a place and not getting anything, and there's zero fish
because they weren't there.
Yeah. So. Does anybody else have that problem where
you should have run the deeper first?
I should have ran the deeper.
I've had the problem. I've had the same problem where the smart sonar makes me feel dumb.
Yeah, why didn't I? Here I am, and I could have went down where Sean was, and been wet waiting for smallmouth down there having a blast. But no, I'm trying to catch these whatever.
Well, thank God
25, 30
thank God for the deeper system. You'd been there for another 2 hours.
Ghost fish.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, yeah. So if you have technology, use the technology.
Yeah.
But anything I learned there, I probably would still do the same thing because, there's still that. I mean, there were fish there, but it was like, one every 10 minutes would come cruising past and doing something. But boy, it was pretty crazy. So,
very cool.
Yeah, that was fun though. It was good to catch up with Sean.
I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yeah, you were supposed to make it to that, right?
Did you have a good time here lately?
No.
You were planning on coming with us.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be there, Will. What happened?
I woke up that morning at like 10 till 4, and there was a message on my phone.
I took ill.
You took ill?
What happened, bud?
I got so I left work, spiked a massive fever, and just ended up getting an inflammation of the colon.
And I thought you were making it up.
Colonitis.
Correct. Gastroenteritis.
Yeah, all that business. And I was out for a while.
Colitis.
It hit you pretty hard.
I'm still working on it, but I'm feeling like 100 times
You were
better.
in the ER for a while, weren't you?
I did.
I talked to Will at the end of his workday, and he said, I don't know what's wrong. Like something's not right. He wasn't freaked out, and he was real calm. I don't know what's wrong. It doesn't feel good, and my knees feel like weak.
I'm just like, I get these sinus infections and stuff every once in a while, and I'm like, why am I getting sick? Like, I getting sick again and again, but this is a whole different animal. This wasn't, I'm actually glad that it wasn't like another sinus infection or something stupid.
I don't know. Sinus infection maybe needs you.
I don't know. The antibiotics from that sinus infection is a lot better than taking that.
No, I know, but as much as like I get those things, I take one colon event and then.
But you're underplaying that flagell. What people don't understand, if they haven't taken it for a week long, it tastes like crap, guys. It tastes like you have metal in your mouth.
Well, I'm
sure taste out.
Sure glad the week before that, when I was sick in my guts, I didn't take it then.
Oh, you should have been taking it because it would have cleaned.
Yeah, and it also it kills every bug in your belly, and you therefore can't. You pass everything, guys.
You pass everything, and literally, it's like a Jesus situation where you're not eating much, but a lot's coming out, and it's like the fish and the bread thing. It
took me a while.
Yeah.
I had a crouton. How many loaves of bread have I made?
Just loaves of bread coming out. So draw your own visuals.
Did you podcast from the hospital?
Yeah, I took the Zoom H6
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, Doc.
I thought I saw a little Facebook Live action.
Hey,
too.
Doc,
You're
You
getting
missed
that
a
IV.
golden opportunity there.
telling the surgical consult doctor, hey, put these headphones
Put
on.
these headphones on a minute.
World famous podcaster here, Will. Here with Dr. Enteritis.
Excuse me, who are you again? Oh, never mind. You don't need the headphones.
Dr. Enteritis.
Yeah.
Are you feeling better?
I'm feeling better.
Good.
I'm glad.
So, anyway, enough about me. Do we have a show tonight?
I think we do.
Should we?
Nah,
I think
we're
so.
good. I think we should wrap it
Ready
up.
to
Where
wrap
can
it
they
up?
find us?
All right.
Yeah.
www.
I think they could find us after we talk a little bit about the newest.
Who's this guy? I mean, and what does he bring to the group?
This guy brings to the group a strong,
Manly beard.
a strong beard.
Only now.
A great radio podcast presence.
Absolutely. You took the words out of my mouth.
I think
It's about time we have somebody smart at the table.
His
Amen
voice
to
is
that.
man butter.
I'll let you know when he gets here.
he can tell a mean story. He's
Why don't
fallen in love with fishing. He's our one and only
That's true.
bow doctor, but better known anymore as Carp.
There it is.
Mad Carp Madara.
I love it. Carp Madara sounds like a Moto X backflip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ryan Carp
There I was
Madara.
in the middle of the Carp Madara.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ryan.
Hi,
I
Rob.
had nothing but one fly left on, and the sands of time were drying up.
How's it going, fellas?
Are you nervous?
No, I'm good.
No.
I'm good.
What?
Oh, you should
I didn't
be
get to do my
nervous.
what's new. I wanted to tell you guys.
Well, we figured you had the rest of the show.
No.
Tell us,
You guys are
Ryan,
No.
what's
You
new?
guys
What's
are gonna
new?
fire
Before we
away.
go into
I just-
lightning session, or
You touched on it.
We're gonna
Phil, you
Hey,
do
Ryan, what's new?
Your what's new is going to be part of the lightning round. What's new?
So
okay, good enough.
Favorite color?
Phil touched on it. My recent love of fishing. Grew up trout fishing pretty much with my dad, like all my life. But you guys have got me into something that
We like spending
is-
your money for you.
Yeah.
as Jeff Barron would have said, it done took a hold. It done took a hold of me.
Yeah.
It done took a hold.
Guys, it done took a hold of me.
It's been amazing, and just today's what, the 6th, 7th,
Yeah, 6th.
July.
Something like
So
that.
on the 4th of July, I actually was able to land my own personal best.
That was a nice fish.
It was my first official tank, right?
Yes.
You guys have been taking pictures. Catfish puts them out like every 3 hours of a new like 18,000 pound bass that he's caught.
Right.
But I finally was able to land one on my own, get it on the boat, get the pictures taken, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was.
Get you some.
You are now up 1 or 2 more notches of addictionness.
Yeah.
I told you it gets worse.
Now,
Last time we talked.
now it doesn't stop. Like I hooked into one. I think I talked about this on another podcast, but I hooked into one over at the lake.
Yeah.
I was using the 4-pound Berkeley Heartbreaker. I guess.
And then the one in Northern Virginia that came up and missed. You saw the big mouth.
This one I was actually able to get my hand in its mouth to get the lure out
Yes.
because it actually sucked it all back in and it was hooked back in the back of the gills.
Yes.
And I had to reach into the mouth. But yeah,
That's a good feel.
That's a good fish.
I just want to
good stuff.
Since you said how it gulped it down, I heard something very interesting this week, and just a little tech.
Talking about how much water they suck in.
Yes,
It's a lot like the
6 gallons.
It's a lot like the lionfish can do the same thing. The way that they can actually suck their prey in from in front of them.
Yes.
Make a vortex to bring it to them.
But I couldn't believe that they were saying something like up towards like 6-7 gallons worth of water washes
I
through
don't know
their
how
lungs.
much exact gallons, but it's a lot.
But that makes sense though because that's why I don't know about this bass fishing stuff, and I've been trying to research and read the articles and watch the YouTube videos, and I'm watching these guys do all of this stuff, and they're fishing with the Senkos and the wacky rigs and all this other stuff, and
With or without the scooter stick.
with or without the scooter stick, exactly. But like they're standing there on the edge of the boat and they're fishing and they're talking to the camera like, oh yeah, there's one, yeah, okay, yeah, it's on now, and then they set the hook. I'm like, how are they doing it? It's because, the fish is taking in that much water with the bait. They're like, okay, yeah, he's on.
Well, it
now
certainly does suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. That's good.
6 gallons suck.
But anyway, I just wanted to say
It sucks as it cuts.
I was able to land my personal best. That fish had to be 1 shad sandwich away from 6 pounds.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Nice
Not
bass.
going to break any kind of records, but I mean, to go from 15, 16-inch trout was like booyah wall hanger to this pig.
That's awesome, and that's within a couple of weeks. Like literally, you've only been.
I still have the stink of newbie
a
on.
few weeks.
Oh yeah, you smell that?
I can smell it over here.
And it's not just fishing. Like he's modifying his kayak, and he's making. He knows what now being on the kayak. He knows what he wants and how he wants it, not what other companies or people build.
Yeah.
Like what you want and where it's supposed to be. And now that you're a true addict and you
know what
got your tank badge, now you need your tank brigade badge where it's like the 6 pound, 7 pound, 8 pound. It just gets more addicting.
Yeah,
I want to see
keep going.
like a picture next time where you're smiling a little bit, like a smirk even.
No, you're not there yet.
You're not to the smirk part.
No.
Well, that ain't going to happen.
You just look like you're like, I hate this fish.
Yeah, I did it for 10 years until Will finally got me to start smiling.
So, I guess a quick background, since it's my episode, I'll do whatever I want.
Absolutely. Why not?
Go right ahead.
I've had countless people ask me why I never smile in any of my hunting pictures. Like, aren't you having fun? Aren't you having a good time? I'm like, yes, I am, but it's a couple of things. There's a couple of reasons.
It's predatory.
But it's stoic, I think, a little bit in nature. Like, I'm paying homage. I don't want to stand there with, like, you hear guys talk about the grips and grins, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to act like I'm celebrating.
You're not.
Over
You're
the
clearly
situation.
not
Even though
celebrating.
I'm in the world of the fishing pictures that I've been taking.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm free in the fighter. Everything's going back in the water, but I'm not celebrating the fact that I just landed the fish. It's still like paying some respects.
Yeah. You have a live fish that's out of the water that don't want to be out of the water while you're trying to take a picture of it. I get it.
But the other aspect of it is I grew up with a big, giant David Letterman gap in my front teeth, so I don't smile in pictures because I'm used to just not smiling because I hate showing my teeth. I was like,
That doesn't make sense.
it's true. So I don't
You
see
don't have it now.
No, I got rid of it. I had braces on when I was like 20.
Nicely done.
20 to 22.
Sweet.
Fourth or duck.
Closed the gap up. Yeah.
I don't think No, I get that. I have a crooked tooth. I don't smile much in my pictures.
I'm just saying, like a smirk.
smirk.
I don't. Yeah, you smirk. You
I smirk now, but for you
Send a picture. I was
Smirk
like,
it up.
back in the PO days, I had the most grouchiest look on my face for years.
Before you pooped.
Before I pooped, it's like 8 years in between poops.
Next one for you, Will. The next one, you get a big old cheesy grin on it.
Get yourself.
You know what I think is
Don't do it for me though. Do it because you.
Oh no, absolutely, I'm doing it for you.
Oh, good.
the
what I
coolest
really
thing about this, Ryan, is that, like you said, you're the most fishing you've done is trout fishing, but because you have, I don't know, there's something in the heart of an outdoorsman, whether you're a hunter or a fisherman, bow hunter, whatever it is you're doing outdoors, that you can pick up on something, and it all comes back to a few different basic principles. Whether you're whatever you're doing, whatever you're hunting, whatever you're fishing, and you can figure it out. And like everybody,
Absolutely.
I don't know. Everybody, I know a true outdoorsman has that ability to figure out what their prey wants, how to catch it, whether you're fishing it, hunting it, trapping it, and you've proved that,
there's a lot of correlations.
Short weeks.
Yeah. There's a lot of correlations that I've drawn, and I've thought about these things while I'm sitting on the kayak. A lot of similarities, probably like pros and cons too in their similarities, because one of the cons that I thought about really recently is
Shaka.
well, there's
Genghis.
wrong group. Okay.
Kubla.
So
Kubla Khan.
Our con from
Coming from Starship.
all right, somebody done broke Stevie.
Breaking Stevie is the name of this episode.
So, one of the negative similarities. Let's go with that. One of the negative similarities between the bow hunting that I've done, that I'm absolutely obsessed with, and the bass fishing from the kayak that I am becoming very, very, very obsessed with.
Yeah.
One of those similarities or unfortunate coincidences is the constant second guessing.
Huh.
I'm always second guessing myself. But here's the worst part about kayak fishing. I've got 3 rods. So I got this kayak crate, right? All my lures, every piece of soft plastic I've got, every different kind of hook, every different whopper, plopper, spook, jig, jitterbug, fluke,
Badonkadonk.
with and without the scooter sticks. Everything's back there. Like, I've got it all with me. So as soon as I cast out and reel back in one time, it's like, yeah, I should probably try something different. Because I do the same thing when I'm archery hunting. I get in a tree stand, everything's perfect. I'm like, this is the morning. And as soon as it starts to break a little bit of light, I start thinking about what I would be seeing in another stand.
You and I do.
The only difference is when I'm archery hunting, you can't just climb down and go over to your other stand. When you're fishing out of the kayak, it's right there. It's like, well, let me just go ahead and tie another one on.
There's a lot of guys that do that too when they're fishing. They'll spend more time changing baits than they do actual fishing.
That's what I found myself doing.
What I do is I'll take a whopper plopper and I'll hook a Cinco to it.
And a night crawler.
And spray some shad juice on it.
Yeah.
And a Kitech trailer. Nice.
I just, something's going to...
Something will hit that.
Something will want that.
I like that. I'm going to do that.
Thread a night crawler on the line with a Keystone copper in.
Yeah, if I end up catching like a sunfish or a crappie, I just let it on.
Yeah, just keep fishing. Throw them back out.
I'll catch something.
I like it. Well, it's good.
Anyway.
It's been fun watching you.
It has.
Just starting from, not bass fishing to landing these monster fish.
And taking a step back, Ryan come on to the group a little bit later, not much, than when we actually started the podcast. And
he called his shot. He told me he was going to do that.
Yeah. And here's the crazy part about it is, we said that you'd get a bunch of brothers and best friends, and did you? I guess my first question for you is, so people get to learn, did you realize that you would be in love with growing a beard and love learning how to bass fish and all this different stuff and you're not done. There's lots of different things that we're going to keep doing and learn from you as well.
I still haven't done a bit of wet wading. We haven't gone out for the flatties on the Susquehanna yet. There's all kinds of stuff I'm looking forward to. And, I've helped you guys out, I think, a little bit up until this point because I got bows that I've been hooking up for guys. We'll get into the part where we're going to start hanging stands, getting ready for hunting season for whitetails, and I'll be able to give back.
No,
right now I'm a sponge.
Yeah,
but you got to fill me up.
Did you realize, is this something that you anticipated and figured out that?
Oh, not at all. I mean, you between Will and Catfish, you guys prepped me, and you're like, listen, the whole idea, and we talk about this every week with every guest. You got 8 new best friends. Will advised me of the amount of text messages and
involvement
and Facebook feedback messages that you're going to be getting, and it's constant, it's nonstop, and it's true because if it goes 45 minutes to an hour and I haven't heard from somebody, I'm like,
Will's in the hospital.
Someone's in the
ER. Somebody call Stevie and find out what's happening.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I cried kicking and screaming not to have you on this podcast. I told Will it's not the right guy. You don't have a beard.
No. Keep him out.
No, I was ecstatic when the invitation was extended to me, so it was a no-brainer.
Did it ever cross your mind to say no?
No, it didn't.
I didn't think so.
No, and I think we've talked about this in the past. I have been podcasting for a while, with the other.
You have how many hundreds of hours of podcasting?
Well, we just did 150 episodes
so
on
you're
Span
like
the Void,
300,
and each of those
hours.
is about 4 hours worth of podcasting.
You got to divide that by 25 because Ryan gets to talk about an hour of that 4 hours, and Matt talks the other 3.
But in total, I've been involved with podcasting.
He sat near a microphone.
And rolled my eyes for countless hours. But yeah, this is sitting around, and that podcast that we just did 150 episodes on. That podcast started just as between Brad and I sitting around going, we should be recording this. Like other people would enjoy listening to us. Just sit around a table, have a couple of beers, ribbing each other, busting each other's chops, and just talking about stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, and Brad can attest to this from Span the Void. Like he can attest to this, and you guys all know it at this point. The only thing that really gets me going,
Matt,
is besides anger issues. Like I've got a pretty short fuse when it comes to getting upset about things, but the only thing that gets me excited, that gets my eyes lit up,
Jimmy,
is hunting.
It's getting to tell your experiences.
Right. And I try on that podcast.
And they're not always extremely receptive towards paying attention.
But it doesn't matter if there's a microphone in front of me or not. I could sit down and I could tell you guys a story about a buck I killed this year.
What happened?
I can tell you guys about it sometime.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
I killed a buck this year. And I've told that story countless times.
In archery season?
Many of you have heard it countless times. But I could sit here and tell it again.
Is that the one catfish?
It's talking about hunting, specifically archery, has been something that just, it gets me going.
Yeah.
And I'm quickly finding out that talking about fishing is going to start doing the same thing.
Dude, I mean, we didn't always dote over everybody's, on the podcast, but we're really glad you're here.
Yeah, we are.
Thanks, guys. I love you.
Special.
This is getting a little bit emotional.
I'm glad I changed my mind at the last second.
Yeah.
You were a tough sell.
I was.
Yeah.
Ryan, you
He was
mentioned
the last holdout, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
I knew it.
He was.
Sorry, Ryan. I love you now.
you mentioned Span the Void in a couple of episodes back. I want to thank you for an outdoorsman with a beard who drives a truck for defending big trucks and kind of why did Jim get that small bed? That's a great truck he has.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
But
It's Jim's episode.
I know.
You can still haul 4x8 sheet of plywood.
That's his thing. He drops the the gate on that. He can still get a 4x8 sheet.
with 2 feet of it hanging out there.
All right,
But
thank you because you said the things that I wanted to say.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
and I thank you for that.
I said I probably didn't say a lot of the things we all wanted to say too, but that's all right.
So
It's a
maybe
different story.
Maybe we can start the lightning round.
I'm not one for formalities,
I was
but I
just
was
gonna
going to
say
say
that.
that.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Not one to get into
No,
detail
like to know, to be consistent.
or beat dead horses.
Huh?
Anyway,
Hey, Ryan.
Yes, sir. Yes, Stevie.
What's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
it's lightning round, bud.
Oh, like
You have like
That was-
half a second. What, Ryan? Favorite
chicken
food?
parmesan.
You don't have to. I think he said
Actually,
chicken parmesan.
veal parmesan
Veal
would be the better choice.
Nice.
Favorite color?
Blackish.
Perfect.
That includes grays and browns. I'm colorblind. So
Blackish.
You are.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bubbly, bright red on the end of my arrow. That's my
Gotcha.
favorite
Frothy.
I would ask
Frothy
you
red.
what it means to be like how color blindness works, but Will would yell at me afterwards. So
Well, we can bring it up after the
Rod-
lightning round.
Rods and cones.
Sorry.
Rods and cones.
Favorite superhero?
I don't really have one, but I guess I'll say Batman, but only the Christian Bale Batman from Batman Begins.
was good.
That Batman.
yeah.
I don't like comic booky Batman.
No, I don't want to do that. Have you seen Batman Lego? No. It'll change your mind. No.
What do you do for a living?
What I work in the IT industry.
You do.
Yes, I'm a bit of a liaison. I don't program anything, and I'm not an end user. but I can speak to both sides of that coin, right? So I take the really techie tech talk that the programmers use, and I can dumb it down and speak to an end user.
You sound like
then I take their questions and I can convert that back into techie speak.
What was the guy in Office Space?
I don't actually do anything, Bob.
The stapler guy?
The other one. I take the design and talk to the engineers. And
I don't remember him. I just remember the stapler guy.
I wouldn't actually say I've been missing
He was the one that got hit by a car, I think. But anyways,
I think I know the answer to this one. Do you secretly love cats?
No, I do not.
If you could be one animal, what animal would that be?
Damn it, that was my question.
If I could be an animal, well, I guess I'm supposed to say carp. Being
Why
my
would you
nickname,
be a carp?
But I don't think of myself as a bottom feeder.
Soft mouth and everything.
I'm going to go mountain lion.
Gotcha. Dream hunt.
Mountain lion.
It is a lightning round. Like the answer for the next 6 questions. No matter what it is.
What's your favorite big cat?
Dream hunt's going to be still, it's whitetails, Milk River in Montana
Yeah.
for whitetails.
you got any kids?
3
Yeah.
that I know of.
Male or female?
My kids?
Whatever you want.
2 girls and a boy.
That question gets thrown out every lightning round. You figure it out.
I never know what it refers to.
I got the easy way out.
Yeah.
Timed that just right for me. Yeah, 2 girls and a boy, though, for the kids.
All right.
Coldest place you've ever been?
Stowe, Vermont. Negative 72 degrees was the wind chill factor.
What?
Nazi wind chill.
That's
What's
ridiculous.
the actual
I think the actual temperature was in the negative 30s.
30s?
Yeah.
Wow.
They would not let us on the last lift to take you to the summit.
Girls.
Without facial
Oh,
protection.
yeah. Good. I'm glad you
And
went.
girls.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
No, I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, we had to
Yeah.
have girls with us.
I lived in North Dakota, so if they didn't let you out in negative 30,
facial
you gotta
protection?
take
No,
you
we
need
were
to take a
we
trip.
were on the mountain. We were skiing. You just couldn't take that last lift all the way up to the summit because of the wind chill without something on your face.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, you got to cover your bare skin.
Which
Pain,
I
right?
think they radioed down to the ski lodge to let them know.
It's gonna suck.
No, they said, mark up the price on all the face masks. Because half of us had to ski down and buy something to cover our face.
And a chapstick.
I think I paid like $70 or $80 for like a little...
No, you didn't.
No, I'm exaggerating at this point, but
Just for lip balm.
yeah.
For chapstick.
You want your lips to fall off, boy?
Propane, charcoal, or wood pellet?
Whew. What am I using or what do I want to use?
Yes.
Go.
I'm currently using propane with an option of charcoal, but I want to use wood pellet.
A Traeger?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Want to get me a Traeger. Cooked on a Traeger just this past weekend.
You did? What'd you cook?
Corn. Actually.
What?
The grill next to it had all of the other things on it. And I'm like, guys, you can do anything in this Traeger. Watch.
Corn on the
So I
cob.
put corn
in
on
the
the cob.
husk.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bet that was
It's
good.
I soaked it for about half hour.
Yeah.
Like in the ice water?
Fired it up.
You
Ice water. I put a little bit of milk and
you
stuff.
corn soaker.
Yeah.
Flour or cornmeal?
Flour.
You just said that.
I love
just to
Jeff
fire
Barron.
me up. I'm going to sell you all on that cornmeal. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Don't even waste your
Just a
time.
cornmeal.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all right.
And anything's good soaked in Frank's Red Hot.
No, man.
That's good stuff.
Buttermilk.
That boy not wrong. He is not wrong.
No, sir.
What's your favorite beverage?
Right now, no. Funk Citrus.
There you go.
But usually it's Magic Hat number 9.
What's more uneasy to you, or gets the things going inside? Talking to a cop or a hot chick?
What makes you more uncomfortable?
Yeah.
I don't think either one of them make me uncomfortable anymore because
'Cause you're
chances are with the cop, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm just talking to him, asking how his day is, and hot chicks don't bother me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm married at this point.
It's true.
If you could spend 6 months in any period of time in the Earth's history, where would you want to be?
Ronald Reagan.
Knew that was coming.
I honestly believe I would be some sort of Scandinavian Viking-ish type thing.
Yeah.
Or I would be a peasant in the medieval times.
Medieval times, so, like you.
The restaurant.
A drumstick. And,
Excuse me, sir.
Hello, hello, ladies. Can I have some more?
I'd like to have a little bit more. More.
have we had enough of lightning? Can we?
No.
No.
All right.
Let's say, who would you pick in Hollywood? Who would be if you could pick one girlfriend and one boyfriend, you have to pick them both.
You have to pick them both.
At the same time.
No matter what.
Male or female?
All right. This is relatively speaking. This is easy.
I was going to say,
My girlfriend's going to be Avril Lavigne. Think what you want, but she is fantastic.
Okay.
Avril.
And she'll sing to me at night.
Yes.
And my boyfriend will be Blake Shelton.
She would. Why you have to be so complicated, right?
And I'd say, hey, I'm just a skater boy.
Grow up, Brian.
but you had that one in your like hip pocket there.
What's that?
You were loaded, ready to go with that. Jeez.
Well,
You've been thinking about Blake Shelton
Avril
a
Lavigne's
while.
always in the back of my mind.
You could have taken
And
like the straight line path.
I've had a
and
man-
just said Jared Leto.
No, I've had a man
It's a
crush on
boy and girl.
on Blake well before like The Voice and all
Really?
this other
So,
stuff.
what's your favorite music type? Like,
Oh, see, that's very. When it comes to music and me, it's very eclectic.
yeah.
Depending on what you're doing.
I grew up. No, not even that.
No.
I'll listen to anything.
Speaking of man love,
Oh, it's lightning round. Damn it! Sorry. 90s crunch. Go.
if Catfish is crying, would you hug him to comfort him?
Aw.
That's a trick question. Catfish doesn't
cry.
That's a good one.
Who's your favorite span the void personality other than yourself?
and Will.
Is there anybody other than me on there?
No.
Ken Oiler.
Oh,
Super fan Ken Oiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with the easy choice. It's Brad.
Brad. Yeah,
That didn't take long
I
either.
didn't even. I'm sorry, Ken. I forgot totally about that. The next podcast remind me to tell everybody of our listeners on how amazing Ken Oiler is on fighting off snakes out of kayaks.
Oh,
yeah?
I did see some of that.
To be continued, Ken. Don't think you're getting off the hook.
All right. That's a little teaser for the next episode, folks.
What got you started in podcasting?
Is this the speed round?
Yeah, we're done with the speed round. We're going to move on.
Now the COO says.
He kind of said a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it was really the brainchild of Brad.
Yeah.
We're just sitting around out back having a couple of beers, just BSing. And he goes, man, we should start recording this. We should do a podcast.
And for the listeners,
I was like,
Brad
yeah.
is literally the guy that lives right behind your house.
Yes.
They're always together.
It's like
Pretty much.
150 yards.
Yeah.
And we're related now. We married sisters.
Yes. This is Ryan's podcast. We're going to take a short commercial break. While I tell you about Ken Oiler's trip down the river, Ken took, I believe, 2 of his daughters. Does he have 2 daughters?
Yeah.
Yeah, he took them kayaking in purple and pink kayaks down let's call it Ticondewago, the Swatera, wherever they were being. And I do remember seeing photos of Ken, and if you have not seen Ken, Hot Rod Ken, Long Beard Ken, Glasses Ken,
Super short hair, long beard.
yeah, like
Nice call.
not a hipster, not a Viking, just not a greaser.
50s. Yeah, if anything,
He's
greaser.
straight out of an old malt shop with a big beard
Yeah.
back in the 50s, like the barbershop quartet singing on the sidewalk, rolling up in a 1934 chopped coupe type of Ken Oiler. Just tough. Like I just would imagine the tight rolled jeans sewn at the bottom, cigarette pack underneath his sleeve. I'm
Never-
ready to go. Let's roll.
Never used a breaker bar to get a nut loose.
No, exactly. Just chewed it off. So he's kayaking, in a pink and purple kayak with his 2 daughters down the Swatara, Conewago, Susquehanna, wherever he's at, I forget.
Sure.
And this massive, from what I hear, I didn't see a picture, like anaconda comes out of the bushes and starts swimming across the Swatara.
Did you say anaconda?
Yeah, it was like this giant 40-foot python or something. So this is what his post says. And so as he's kayaking down, this snake disappears. And they continue to go, and apparently he was going to like jump out and chew its eyeball out. And it went away. So as they're going down, the Swatara Conewago gets slower and lower to the point where he has to get out ankle deep and drag the kayaks through with his daughters because Ken's slightly on a bigger guy's size. So if a couple inches of water, kayak don't float, he gets out, he's walking ankle deep in water. And what shows up? This dragonish, large, massive, I don't even know what a prehistoric crocodile-looking anaconda thing pumps out again. Technically, from what I hear, it was like a 4-foot water snake. So
Was it a stick?
no, it was an actual snake. It was just like a garter snake. But this
I
is
don't
the
think
way
it was even 4 foot.
No, his post made it out to be that it was, the
40-foot anaconda.
Loch Ness monster come out of nowhere, and his girls explained it in their post as a shriekish, godly, goddess-like scream came out of Ken Euler.
Goddess-like scream.
Like it woke the neighbors up down
like
to Swatara.
Like a harpy.
Like a harpy, yes.
Yeah, they thought it was the fire alarm going off at like the local fire department. Everybody shows up and finds out it's this tiny little water snake that came across, and he now remember is walking his kayak, so he's carrying his paddle. He throws his kayak paddle at this snake, and this snake goes under the water. Now, he swears it's to protect his 2 daughters, protect his children.
Yeah.
But in the mass confusion, the water is now murky. And he can't see where the snake goes. So he jumps back in his kayak, which now is not floating, and spends the next hour in his kayak in the sun while telling his daughters everything will be okay. Because he can't go anywhere, he won't get out of the kayak, and he can't paddle anywhere because he has no paddle.
For an hour.
Bless his heart.
I don't know,
God
hours,
love him.
like 2.5 days from what he said. So he ended up, like, I don't know, in the ER with all kinds of chest pain from this snake
Panic
that
attack.
swears was waiting in the murky water to kill him when he stepped out and his daughters. And the story's longer than that, but Ken can tell it better. When we have him on the podcast, he can tell you all about the epic story that it is Ken Euler fighting the anaconda.
I'm pretty sure his daughter saved him.
We're back
So it
from
was all said and done.
That was nice of him.
We're now back from commercial.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so you're on a podcast every week with Brad, and we. How did we stumble across you? How did R2 find Ryan?
Well, actually, I think it was at that point Will was interested in podcasting, and Will is related through marriage,
Yeah.
I think, to Brad, as am I.
This is all coming together now.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
This was...
no.
Oh, you really didn't know it? You didn't
Well,
know this backstory?
I'm trying to be dramatic.
Oh, you suck at that.
I absolutely do.
Okay. Son of a... I'm trying to explain it so I don't leave out details or get it wrong, but you already know the story. So, yeah, basically...
But millions of other people listening don't.
Right.
So you,
Yeah, we get it. We get it, bud.
So if you go back and you listen to the very first Rut and River Pursuit podcast, Will talks about how Posted Outdoors has become Rut and River Pursuits, and part of that, rebranding, Will's vision was for this podcast to be
the heart,
what it is,
the lifeblood of the
and
group.
Will, being a super fan at that time of the Span the Void podcast, he was like,
huge.
I got to get in with these guys and see what's going on. So he sat in on one, and he was basically a silent observer.
I tried.
Until he drug me off.
You got in a little bit.
I sure tried.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
And that was when we were maybe 30, 40 podcasts in, something like that. And then around the 50, 60 podcast mark, maybe it was a little bit later, I might have my...
You know what? That was not me, the silent observer.
Well, that was
Aaron.
Yeah,
at
Aaron
30,
was
40. I was at
silent.
80, at 86 because that was Matt's first.
Oh, yes. during the golden years.
Careful how you say that. You were Matt's first.
That was
It was the first podcast that was done in his absence.
Matt quit.
He took a bit of a hiatus. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It wasn't long after that, though.
Well, guys,
And-
I was going to say this earlier. Take it easy on Matt. He's had a traumatic life.
Trauma.
Trauma.
Yeah, he knows
Lot
all
of
about trauma.
So
You go back and listen to that podcast. I told him a little bit about trauma. But not long after Will came on,
yeah, 86.
then we actually got a hold of Will again. We're like, hey, why don't you come back? We're sort of in this weird place right now where Matt's taking this break and we don't know what we're doing. Come on back. You were fun. Let's have you back on. And Will goes, I got this guy.
I know a guy.
So they show up.
Yeah.
It was Will
Thus entered the catfish.
and Uncle Catfish. And I distinctly remember they pulled in my driveway. We were recording over at Jim's house that night.
Yeah, Studio
But you
B.
guys pulled in my driveway about an hour before it was time to go. And I was, proud of my little basement that I've got with my little archery studio that I've got down there. I'm like, come on down here and check this thing out. And I met Catfish for the first time, and I'm talking to him for a little bit. I'm like, all right, we're going to go over to Jim's house. So you guys go and jump in your truck. I distinctly remember this. I looked at Brad and I said, that's podcast gold right there. I said, we got Catfish on this podcast tonight. This is podcast gold. Mm-hmm. And it was. It has to be my favorite Span the Void episode still.
That was the first podcast I ever listened to, was the one with Catfish.
Yeah.
I was
Same here.
I was fishing. I had a drinker. Let's just say I was wild turkeying. So it's a hunting podcast. So
It was turkey season.
It was wild turkey season. And Will calls me up and he's like, hey, I got something fun to do. Let's come with me. We're going to go talk on the radio. All right. I really didn't know what to expect. And the first thing I remember ever saying on the podcast was, Will told me not to expect much. And I was talking they don't really expect to say anything or do, And the very first thing I ever said on a podcast, I think, was quite a... It was kind of kicking the balls to spin. I'm not supposed to expect much.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have. You absolutely shouldn't have, because we made you guys share a microphone that night. I mean, it was a rough night.
It was fun. I was nervous.
It was fantastic.
It was weird talking into a microphone.
It turned into gold, and it became natural. We're doing it right now. Everybody's got their own microphone, but now, and I'm actually thinking of it as I'm doing it. I'm talking to you, and I'm turning my head to make sure I'm in the mic right.
Yeah.
When I look at Stevie to say something to him, or if I look all the way over here to Uncle Buck, I'm physically moving around the microphone because I've done it so much at this point.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it wild from that night until now where we're actually sitting and what we're doing?
Yeah,
And it's only been a year.
Yeah.
Was that a year ago?
It was that was just over
We're not live yet.
a year ago at this point. But yeah, you guys didn't start up.
No, we were just starting to get our juices flowing.
And that's really where this was born, was out of Will's concept of what he wanted Rotten River Pursuits to be, and then the introduction with Span the Void and learning what a podcast could be. Because if anything, we did spend a lot of time to try to make ourselves sound good.
Yeah.
And I talked to Will, and Will asked me a lot of questions. He talked to Jim from Span the Void, asked him a lot of the technical questions about how he does his recording, how he makes it sound good. And, I was always just in the background going, those guys are awesome. And when you guys started recording and started releasing the podcast, I'm like, those guys, it's going places. This is going to be awesome just to watch what these guys are going to do, hoping to eventually reach up, grab a hold of one of you, pull you under, and then step up real quick.
Choke you out like a Navy SEAL.
Finally, I was able to make that success.
Yeah. So you've been part, essentially, from the beginning, then, maybe not at the forefront.
Absolutely. Well, a big part of the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because
The Podfather.
I don't know when I can't really remember the specific moment when I met Ryan and Matt and those guys and the Span the Void guys. But when I did, that was the first time I was like, wow, maybe we have something here. I just thought we were a bunch of guys in a basement chatting with each other. And
Oh,
downloading it. And then when I hear these guys that have had 100 episodes under their belt saying, you guys have something, no, keep going with it. And the nurturing way in which you have helped us since then.
Yeah, there's no frame of reference to know what we're doing, so it's good.
In our household, we don't even watch TV or movies anymore on Monday night. We literally watch Facebook. Me and Lace laugh on Facebook. Or complain on Facebook whenever somebody's rambling. Like, we scrutinize their podcast and laugh our asses off back and forth.
Thing
last week, I'm not going to get into what last week's was about, but it is still rumor of conversation in my house of...
You guys aren't split 50-50 on that.
We are.
Oh, no.
Lacey's a water.
So you're the one that's wrong.
Apparently, that I was never told in life that a folder is wrong. So, yeah. So go back and listen to Span the Voids last week. You're going to understand. Speaking of Span the Void, Ryan, would you rather be stuck in a small room with Brad for a week or stuck in a small cabin with Matt for a month? The only alternative to get out of this was that you had to sleep for 12 hours in a twin bed with Jim. Would you like me to repeat the question?
How big?
That's like a big story problem.
How big's the room?
It's a small room, the same size that I just stayed in the Bronx. Without the bathroom.
We're not allowed to leave the room.
No, you're not allowed to leave the room.
And not just for a day.
That is for 1 week.
Oh, that's a week.
That's a week in a little room. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
And can I go outside the cabin with Matt?
You're stuck in the cabin. You're snowed in.
Yeah, you're in with
All
these
right,
guys.
so that one's out.
You're stuck in the room with Brad. You're stuck in a small cabin with Matt.
All right, so A or
you can get out of all this by just crashing out with Jim in a twin bed for 12 hours.
A twin bed.
I said
12 hours.
Twin bed, 12 hours.
With Jim. I'll take Brad for a week. I'm good.
Just checking. See where we stand on all that.
So 24 hours with Jim?
Do we have the H6 or the ability to podcast?
You can do whatever you want. You're just stuck in the room.
Inside. It's small.
Yeah.
If I know Brad, he'll be dragging a kayak in to throw it in a bathtub. Like he's
trying to roll it.
Yeah.
Oh, with that one,
building something.
he'd roll it.
Yeah.
He's building outriggers with like bars of Dove soap.
Yeah. He'll figure it out. He's always into something.
Ryan, were you in the military?
Yes, sir.
You were?
Yeah. I was in the Marine Corps.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hoorah.
I was going to ask the same question, but in a different fashion.
Why don't you ask it?
Okay, so same question as I just asked.
Ryan, were you in the military?
Yes, sir.
What branch? What's your favorite color?
You're in a rough spot and you can't get out of it, and you have the choice of being saved by either the Navy, the Air Force, or the Army. Who do you choose to come save you?
Those are my choices?
There's your choices.
That's the complete choice?
That's all the choices.
Of course, I'm going to choose the Navy.
Okay.
Because I was in the Marine Corps, and the Marine Corps is a department of the Navy.
It is.
But
And they have the SEALs.
Any good department store, the Marine Corps would be the men's department.
The men's. I knew I would get a good answer out of that. I just wasn't sure what it would be.
How long did you serve?
I did a 6 and 2 contract, so it was 8-year contract, 6 years, and then 2 years on the inactive reserve.
Wow.
Have you guys ever seen the picture of him in training camp?
Yes.
With all the... I'm not saying that you were lighter or...
I was half the man I am now.
You
Literally.
The picture of you actually looks just like whenever... Schwarzenegger puts the mud over his face and waits for the predator. He's like, come and get me.
Yeah.
Kill me now.
Kill me now.
Kill me now.
That angled sweep.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Do it.
What were you carrying? You had something. What were you carrying in that picture?
That was my M16.
Yeah.
That was during the combat training. Not the combined arms exercise. That was just infantry training down in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
You told me one time one of the worst parts of being down there was being on the beach in PT in the bugs while you're stand at attention while they're biting you.
They actually chew on your brain.
Yeah.
You can hear them. You can hear them chewing on your brain. You had to stand in a position of attention. You couldn't move. That's what it sounded like. You just did it. You could hear that, and you could feel the biting, and you couldn't move.
You could
not move.
That's horrible.
Yeah. That was.
If I was Tyler Dunn in Canada, and I'd take people out fishing, and I was the guide, and they were on my boat, and the black flies were biting them, I'd just be yelling at them. Listen, if Ryan can do it, I don't want to hear you complaining. They're just black flies.
Did you guys see the picture of Ryan at the bar on bass playing the piano after a long game of volleyball?
The one in the dress?
Did he look like Val Kilmer?
That's where the romper started, I'm pretty sure.
What was the line? Oh, Will, you big stud.
Take me away.
Take me to bed or lose me forever. Goose, you crazy.
I saw that picture. I don't know.
Was that the toughest
Never
thing you've ever
close
done?
your eyes. Wait, sorry. That's a different podcast. What was the question?
Was that the hardest thing? Like being in the military, was that?
No.
No.
I will not. I could never be a recruiter.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. It's something I'm glad I did. It absolutely made me a better person. It made me who I am in many ways. But I couldn't lie to people. It was tough. It was hard. But the thing is, it was all the mental toughness. Physical toughness is what guys worry about. Like, oh man, I don't know if I could deal with some of that stuff. Like the week before graduation, you had to do like a 5-mile boots and utes where you're running in, the camo and the combat boots.
Yeah, what a
utilities,
pack on.
boots and utilities, and we did one
for those that don't know what a ute is.
Sorry, boots and utes is what they call the run.
The
but
2 utes,
2 utes in the courtroom.
Could you describe the utes?
Yeah. Let me stop you right there, Ryan. It was 2 utes.
That was another interruption on that Jeff Barron I wanted to do too that I missed out on. Just saying.
Yeah,
don't mean to correct it, but it was 2 copperheads.
Where were we?
The mental stuff is what got you, because the physical stuff, they made you do it until you did it.
Yeah,
it wasn't a problem.
You got strong enough to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was the mental toughness, just being able to put up with it.
I was actually waiting for you to say that. No, it's not the toughest thing I ever did. Podcasting with Matt is actually the toughest.
That's
thing
what
ever.
I thought I was going to hear too.
On a regular basis, that is much more difficult. Because again, it goes back to the
mental thing,
mental toughness. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears and talk briefly about your outdoor likes and
what is it you don't like to do outside?
Yeah.
What is it I don't like to do outside?
Yes, I will give you an example of something I don't like to do outside, so that maybe will jog your memory.
Okay.
I don't like to run into washing machines with go-karts. Other than that, I like pretty much everything outside.
Swim in foreign waters after a whopper plopper.
I don't like to weed eat in flip-flops because I get poison ivy on my ankles. There are certain things outside that aren't fun.
I'd have a hard time coming up with something. Yeah. I honestly...
You're just an outdoor boy.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Has it been that way your whole life?
It really has. I mean, even growing up, where I lived was just outside of like a big development. Obviously suburban, South Central Pennsylvania. But we had a big playground in the backyard, like a community type playground. And I used to get together with my friends, and we would play. We just called it guns. We'd play guns. So we're out in the playground or down the hill over the bank at the creek's edge, and we're hiding, pretending that we're in Vietnam or doing whatever we're doing. And, I was always...
I got a 270.
And then it's like, bang, got you, Jason. And he's like, no, you missed. And I'm like, no, I got you.
Yeah.
We do that for days on end.
Yeah.
To the left and to the right are 40mm machine guns. These babies tend to heat up, so shoot in 3-second bursts.
I got you. No, I didn't. That's good.
So they're...
So when you grew up in a development and played outside of it. Have you, full circle in life now, have you spoken to your wife and told her about your decision to move back to the development at Lake Mead? Because I haven't heard about that.
I don't know if I could put up with like the HOA type stuff.
Oh, I don't do it either. I just tell them I'm not.
That would be the only tricky part, but I would love love to live in the lake.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Although I really like where I'm at.
No, and I like where you're at, too.
We have a nice little compound.
You're a hop, skip, and a jump from me, so technically... If you just come over and say that you live in the house, you can probably get a transponder and you can come fishing every morning. You just have to get up a half an hour earlier every day.
That's why the ladies at the gate call me Carp.
Yeah.
That's how they know me. I'm Catfish's cousin, Carp.
You're Carp Fry.
Hey, Carp Fry.
But yeah, where we're at, actually, my son got his first deer doe right across the road from the house.
Yeah.
Little CRP type field. It's grown up in the clean and green program.
I saw it. I actually remember the cat running into there. So
you probably walked right all around.
Yeah. So all of your kids pretty much are now active in outdoorsing activities.
Yes, my oldest daughter's 15, so she's right now in that phase where she's just a little too cool for that stuff.
Yeah.
But when she was 10, first year out, really hunting with me, she killed a buck bigger than anything I've dropped yet.
No kidding.
Yeah, her first buck was the last day of rifle season that year, and again, when I say bigger than anything I've killed, I have yet to break 100 inches. As far as a whitetail buck goes, I don't have the patience for it. For me, as soon as I see a legal buck, I'm like,
Yahtzee.
It's on.
He gone.
I've been getting better with holding out for something a little bigger. I've passed up a few buck here and there. But, she was 10 years old, dropped a big one. My youngest hasn't hunted with me yet, but she's loving the fishing stuff. She's itching
Give her another
to
2
get out there
years.
hunting. My son's killed a couple of doe now. He's got the bug for it, so... We're really big archery.
It's another great thing about the podcast. Now you can just text me, hey, should I take this buck or will a bigger one come by?
I'm not even waiting to that point. I'm just texting you in the morning.
Should I even get up?
Should I get up today?
No.
What time do I get up?
No.
I hate when he says, yeah, you can hunt today, but you're not going to see anything. But you might as well get up.
You can't kill him sitting on the couch. That's what my dad always said.
But don't expect anything.
So I would feel remiss, and I know at this point we're pushing time, but I would be doing you gentlemen a disservice if I didn't tell you about the first deer I ever killed.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you tell us about the first deer you ever killed?
No, I want to hear about the first deer you shot.
That's a great
All
one,
right,
too.
even better.
One less than the second deer you killed.
Not 0, but 1.
So there I was. No,
Sorry, folks, we're out of time.
All right. Where can I find it?
that would
You can catch the rest of the story on Ryan Part 2.
Right after Ken Oiler gets swallowed by a snake.
No, I will give you the Reader's Digest abridged version because there's so many stories I could tell you guys.
I think you told this story.
The first deer I ever killed?
Yeah, with the 30 shots and...
Is it on the Lost episode?
No, he's told us multiple times that
But
he
it's all
was
run
going
together,
to tell us.
There's been like 3 lost
There's been like
episodes.
19 times he said, remind me to tell you the story of the first deer he's ever shot.
He's never told it.
He's never actually told it.
Should we go back and listen?
Well, there's the punchline, folks. No, I can tell you guys a ton of stories from my uncle's farm up in Tioga County.
I can edit this.
No, that's fine. My uncle's farm, north central Pennsylvania, Tioga County, back in the heyday, where we used to see a string of 40, 50 deer come running through, and it was nothing.
Yeah.
Now, if you got yourself a nice fork horn during buck season, that's a trophy.
Back in the day.
Right? You get a 6 point, forget about it. Your picture's in the local paper.
Yeah,
Exactly. But you would see 50, 60 does together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, of course, it was a separate season for buck and doe and all that other stuff. But the first year that I actually had a tag that I got to hunt, they decided to put a 12-year-old kid in the middle of a field, and I was supposed to flank a drive. Because that's what we did up there, pretty much, sun up to sundown.
Did you know it?
Deer drive.
Did you even know what that meant?
Drive deer.
Flank a drive, boy.
I'm supposed to flank the drive, but they're basically just pushing out this big patch of timber. I'm sitting in the middle of just a pasture. It's just a cow field.
Yeah.
against a little brush. They're like, just sit here. If the deer come running down through, make sure they don't break out across the field. Because that's what a flanker's supposed to do. I got to keep them in the drive.
Turn them back.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there. I got my pump action 30-30. I'm good to go.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, all of a sudden, cut that out.
I like the Frenchie. Keep it in.
I see these legs coming down along the edge of the woods. I'm maybe 60, 75 yards into the field is where this little pile of brush was I was supposed to sit against. These deer are coming down through right along the edge of the wood line. And I'm like, I don't have to do anything because the deer are all they're doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not supposed to shoot unless anything breaks out. All of a sudden, they get right in line with me, and they turn, and now they break out, and they're running directly at me. There was a pile of deer, and all I see is one. So I pull up, and I'm like, boom. First shot goes off, and all of a sudden, that first deer, it just cuts a hard left, 90-degree angle. And then the one behind it turns, and the one behind it turns, and the one behind it turns. And I'm reloading my gun. It's just a pump action, 30-30, but I'm reloading my gun. I'm like, it was that one. Boom! I'm just now aiming at Brown.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm aiming for. They're just a pile of deer, and I unload my gun. Boom! 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 Trying to reload. These things are all breaking out across the field. They're gone. They go. I'm reloading the gun. Everything's gone. Woods are starting to calm down. Drive goes through. I see some orange go through. I hear the whistling. My dad comes out. He goes, "Did you get one?" I said, I don't know. How would I know? Nothing's laying here.
Yeah.
Clearly I didn't. He goes, "Let's walk up here." There was just a little bit of a dusting of snow on the ground. Mm-hmm. He goes, "Snow on the ground. We should be able to see blood trail. Let's walk over here, take a look." So we go down. We can see where these deer broke out across the field, and were running directly in line with me. And then, all of a sudden, you can see in the tracks, they cut that hard left.
Dog leg.
Yeah, they make that dog leg. So here they come out, dog leg. I was like, this is where I took the first shot. Nothing. No hair, no blood. So we're following the tracks along. I'm going to try to cut to the chase on this, because this could go on for a long time.
Yeah, like Stevie's stories.
Yeah. Anyway, we get all the way out through. We're following these tracks, and at this point in the tracking job, I'm like, I guess I missed him. No hair, no blood, no nothing. And my dad's walking along the tracks, and all of a sudden he notices the one set of tracks. It looks like it drags a little bit, right?
Uh-oh.
And he goes, "You might have got one." And I said, "We didn't find any hair. We didn't find any blood." He goes, "Yeah, but look at this set of tracks." He goes, "It pushes out. Every time this deer steps down, this one set of tracks is just pushing." He goes, "You might have hit something." Sure. Okay. So we follow these tracks out through, and maybe another 200-300 yards, the tracks disappear into this old grown-up graveyard, surrounded by an old fence, but all the headstones are in there, but it's all just brush. Thick, nasty brush. My dad goes, "All right, if you hit a deer and they ran into this stuff, the deer you hit's going to be laying down inside here. What I want you to do," and this is only maybe a 10-yard by 30-yard rectangle of thick brush. He goes, "Go out to the edge of the fence row, follow it out to the corner." He said, "I'm going to follow the tracks in, and if you hit something, she'll be bedded down in here. If she's still alive, she'll jump up, see if you can get another shot at her when she runs out." Like, all right.
Smart.
That works. I get to the corner of this fence. As soon as I hear him climb over and jump down on the other side of this fence, I hear all hell break loose in the center. I'm like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
This deer comes out the other side, just like he said it was going to happen, gets caught up in the fence as she's going over it, gets her feet tangled up, and just falls, boom, straight to the ground. And she's laying there 30 yards away from me, and I go, boom, 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 boom.
Hamburger.
You unloaded.
No, she's still just laying there looking at me.
You never hit her.
And now I'm going, oh my God, gun. I'm trying to load the gun.
You know, a deer.
You never hit it.
I loaded 4 more rounds. Now I can hear more crashing in the brush, but this is my dad making his way toward me. So I get 4 more rounds loaded in, and I go boom, 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 boom. And on the 4th shot, of course, the deer doesn't move, but I feel this hand on my back. And it's my dad, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Stop shooting." And I said, "But she's still laying there." He gives me his gun and takes mine. And while he's proceeding to load rounds back into my pump action 30-30, I empty his lever action 30-30. Boom, 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 boom.
So this is like 24 rounds by now or something like that.
And as he hands it back, he keeps his hand on my shoulder this time, and he goes, "Just calm down."
Yeah. I would have put like a rucksack down and made you lay prone.
No, I was afraid she was going to get up. I couldn't move. Like,
No time for that.
We can't even take a step toward her. She's going to get up any second now.
In your head.
And clearly, she doesn't have a lot of holes in her at this point. Bullets are everywhere. So anyway, he gives me my gun back, and the 3rd shot on that, I did finally put one base of the neck. She drops over.
19.
Let's call it 20 for good measure.
Well,
because he probably lost around somewhere shaking trying to load the gun.
Yeah.
But
I had my first deer on the ground. She had 2 holes in her.
Yeah.
And the first hole, right here in the chest, came out the side. So my very first shot
Was an actual good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't get any hair or any blood off of him that we could see.
Really?
But my dad kept noticing that one leg just kept pushing out as she was running. So basically, he knew I blew that shoulder out.
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Good.
And as she's trying to put weight on it, it's just dragging.
Yeah.
So we kept following the tracks, and the best part of the story really is my uncle, who owns the land, who was actually a Marine Corps drill instructor. He drives the farm truck around, and he comes up to where we're at, and he jumps out. And he's like, "Where are they at?" And I'm like, "She's over there." He goes, "What?" I said, "She's right over there." He goes, "How many?" I said, "Well, just the one." He goes, "All that shooting? And you got 1 deer?" And I said,
How many did you get?
I sure did. And he goes,
I'm waiting for it.
he's like, "Oh, we got some work to do with
Yeah,
you."
I knew he was going to time to learn to shoot, boy.
A Marine's always a rifleman first.
Yeah.
You were 12, though, right?
I was 12, yes.
You got it.
I was so amped up, though.
Well, you've inspired me now to tell my first deer story one day. So
Something to be said about seeing it
odd
through
story.
and the the whole process from start to finish. And
That'll probably be similar to my first deer story.
Ryan, don't feel bad. I did that at age 43.
Yeah.
Right, Will?
yeah, oh yeah. No, it was good though.
So I know I've mentioned the fact that I had a first deer story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard it. I appreciate you sharing it. It was a
That's
good
a
one.
full story.
That was good.
I wasn't sure. I thought, I know that I've heard tell of the legend that was.
The legend of
I couldn't
the doe.
remember if we got to it or not.
We called her Old Brassy.
Yeah.
Oh, brassy.
Because there was a lot of brass thrown at her.
That's good stuff.
You might have thrown more brass at her than she gave you meat.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. And when we came back to the farm, then, of course, my cousins were all there. "How many did you get?" I'm like, "Just the one." I'm all excited. I got one. Yeah, I got her.
One, though.
They're like, "Man, that'd be like eating Swiss cheese." I'm like, "No, she's only got 2 holes in her." Like, I'm all proud. I'm like, "I got her twice." That's all it takes.
Absolutely.
That's good.
That's great.
Hey, what's your favorite con? Shaka, Genghis, or the one from Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Probably Shaka.
Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan, the singer, or
Shaka
the
Khan. What if
Zulu
you
warrior?
do you, Shaka Khan?
The song, mostly.
Ryan, it's been a lot of fun talking with you.
Oh, it always is, Ryan.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Thanks for being part of the group. We're
Thanks for having me, guys. This
much
is
better group.
What a great show for me to come back to after a couple of weeks, just to get back into the pocket here and have
I'm
a
glad
great
I could
time.
help.
Oh, man, thank you, guys.
Break Uncle Buck back in.
Break them in. Guys, how can people find us?
They can go to www.ruttenriverpursuits.com.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
Do all that by searching for @R2 Pursuits.
Or just search Rutten River Pursuits.
How about Steve Miser on Instagram?
At Steve Meiser.
At Steve
all
Meiser.
one
All one word.
MEISER.
I ain't sure you can keep up.
Right.
It's tough. I've had people ask me to slow down.
A lot of pictures of boiling stripers.
Oh, bring that up, why don't you?
Jump on Instagram while you're at it and hashtag 2D taxidermy to try to get on our front page of our website.
Pick of the
picture of the week. Yep.
Yeah, Ryan's been soaking up that.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a new winner.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a pretty good picture of a blue crab here recently, so.
Yeah. And we have some hats.
We do have hats. Hats for sale. Hats for sale.
Get your
hats here.
Do we have hats for sale?
Ice cold hats. Yeah.
Get your hats here.
Hit us up. Anybody can hook you up with one of those hats. I don't. It's limited quantity. We'll see.
Neil Orange Peel was wearing one. He looked pretty cool.
From across the pond.
Yeah.
That guy.
I miss Neil. How's he been?
Good. He's all.
Seen the fly season started over there.
I didn't know there was a fly season.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Hey,
That must be.
I just came out of fly season out of northern Massachusetts, so I can only imagine what it is like in Europe.
At Neil Orange Peel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Guys.
www.ruttenriverpursuits.com.
It's been a great show, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another session around our Sonic Campfire.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan, Carp, Madara, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Ryan.
Later.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Rut and River Pursuits podcast. Follow the R2 Pro staff by searching Rut and River Pursuits on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until the next episode, we need to see you in the outdoors.